with this latest truth post regarding Lebanon, regarding Israel. We turn now to national security correspondent Carla Babb. She's been following this thing the entire time. She's live with more on the conflict from Iran, or rather from Washington, but on this conflict. Good morning.
Hey, yes. Good morning, Sean and Alex. Let's put that post back up. I know you guys were discussing the second half of that post, but let's talk about the first part and what that means for the United States military. He is referencing going in and getting the nuclear dust created by our B-2 bombers. That sounds like he's foreshadowing another Operation Midnight Hammer that happened last June, where the U.S. sent, I believe it was 7 B-2 bombers and bombed 3 different facilities that were crucial to Iran's nuclear program. Now, at that time, we were told that their nuclear program was obliterated. Since then, Marco Rubio, the CIA director, and others have said that they were not enriching, but there was still a threat because we went back in on February 28th. So it sounds to me like he is threatening another Operation Midnight Hammer. I know earlier there were conversations on how the United States would get the nuclear materials, that highly enriched uranium that is buried deep underground. Unclear what another Operation Midnight Hammer would do to get that, because that was one of the critiques last year. We didn't know exactly. We, the United States, did not know how much of that material was destroyed. We knew that that was a very successful operation. Those bombers hit their marks, but with things buried deep underground, it is just hard to say without intelligence how successful we were in eliminating the threat. Clearly, it wasn't completely eliminated, or we would not be at this point today. Now, in the meantime, there is still a blockade underway. More than 10,000 American troops are taking part in this blockade along the Strait of Hormuz. That includes more than a dozen ships, and it also includes a lot of air power. We've been focused on the ships. You can see the ships there, but on these ships and around these ships, there are more than 100 aircraft involved in this blockade for surveillance and for cover. And according to Kepler data, the New York Times has estimated that approximately 900 vessels, 900, Alex and Sean, have been stuck in that Arabian Gulf over the course of this war. As you can see, most of them have been trapped since the war's start on February 28th. And after the ceasefire was reached, channels linked to Iran had published a map showing how friendly vessels to them could safely traverse the strait. But now the U.S. has been blockading all ships that have visited or are trying to visit ports in Iran, with a warning from the president yesterday that the U.S. could strike more targets inside Iran should negotiations fail. Let's listen to him.
I don't know how much longer they can go, because they've been hit very hard. And as an example, we could take out every one of their bridges in 1 hour. We could take out every one of their power plants, electric power plants, in 1 hour. We don't want to do that.
And so that, coupled with the signaling from this tweet, we definitely are feeling like more could be on the way if a deal is not reached. U.S. Central Command just putting out that they have turned away 19 ships, and not all 19 have complied with direction from U.S. forces to turn around. 0 vessels have had to be boarded. But there are plenty of troops there, if necessary, to stop those ships. Sean and Alex.
I'm Sean Kreisman. For stories and content just like this, check out National Report weekdays 9 to noon, only on Newsmax.